All right, back now to more breaking news. Reports from inside the courtroom say disgraced South Carolina attorney and convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh has now pleaded guilty to 22 federal charges, including stealing nearly $9 million from his disabled clients to avoid a trial in that case. There are reports from inside the courtroom saying that Murdaugh was crying when he pleaded guilty. He said, "I'm pleading guilty because I want my son to see me take responsibility." He has one surviving son, Buster. He said he hopes that the people he hurt can heal with his guilty plea. NewsNation is working to confirm those reports. We have seen him get emotional in court before, however. 22 charges also include wire, bank fraud, along with money laundering. Murdaugh's legal troubles don't end there, though. He also faces about 100 separate state charges for crimes including money laundering, wire fraud, and embezzlement. So here's the deal. If the judge agrees to the plea deal, he will serve his prison sentence on federal charges concurrent to any state charges he receives for the same crime. Here now to walk us through next steps here, Rachel Fiset, attorney. Okay, I don't think it's a surprise he's pleading guilty. He already admitted to the financial crimes in court, but how does this move forward legally, given the fact that he's already serving 2 consecutive life sentences for murder?
It shouldn't change his life meaningfully. He will stay in state court serving his life sentence, his double life sentence for murdering his wife and son. Should he get that overturned, as he's trying to do, or get a new trial and then get that conviction overturned, he would then just move on to federal court and serve this sentence if this is the first sentencing before his other state crime, financial fraud case. So he's definitely going to be in prison. He will likely just be in the state prison that he is already currently in for the murders that he's been convicted. But if for some reason that conviction is overturned, then you have a little bit of what prison will Alex Murdaugh end up in?
And did he suddenly develop a conscience? I mean, I want Buster to see me doing the right thing. Legally speaking, is this a strategy that if his murder trial goes to a new trial, that this could be something that offers some sort of sympathy or compassion for him?
I don't think so. I think his goose was cooked here. He had to admit to these financial frauds and financial crimes when he took the stand in the murder case, which was likely a large discussion. Was, okay, you get up on that stand, you're trying to get some sympathy for the murders for which you've been accused, but in doing that, you have to admit to all of these other financial crimes. And so he had admitted it. He was not going to win this one, and frankly, I think that he may have just decided to spare himself the expense and further embarrassment of going to trial on these crimes.
And this, I mean, it feels as though, Rachel, this has already been litigated, right? We were watching the trial so closely, and he was asked about all of these financial crimes, right? There was that back and forth. Do we allow this to go into evidence and testimony? And then we heard the details of just how ugly and evil these thefts were. I mean, stealing from clients who had lost loved ones in car accidents, stealing from the sons of his housekeeper who died. I mean, and he said, yeah, I did it. I did it. I guess the question being now, okay, pleading guilty, you're going to continue to stay in jail, but what about all the money that you stole from people? Is there any way to recoup that? Do people have any financial gain as a result of a guilty plea?
Well, part of this agreement is that he pays back $9 million.
Does he have it,
that
though?
That $9 million must be what they quantified for these federal crimes that he could pay back. And he has to abide by the plea agreement. So in order to get the benefits of it, which means serving the sentence concurrently. Really, this plea agreement is not particularly different than what he might get should he be convicted at trial. I don't think he got a lot of benefits from this plea agreement other than the fact that he doesn't have to go through with it. But he does have to pay that money back.
If he has it.
If he has it.
And we don't know where the money went, right? And he's not the only one accused of stealing money from clients. He's got 2 friends who we worked with who did as well. This is one of the most complicated cases, Rachel, and it continues to be, and we're still waiting for the response from the AG on whether he'll get a new trial for allegations the court clerk interfered with the jury. Okay, good to talk to you as always, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.